it's time to do more seeding. The other stuff is coming up and everything is growing well. We've rigged up some interesting ways to make sure that all of the plants have light. And yeah, it's time to get on to our cabbage. So I have a 72 count bootstrap farmer. Okay. I've got to decide what cabbage I want to do. So I do have an order coming in from Baker Creek, and I have some cabbage varieties in there, but this Miss Hong, so I'm gonna have to look these up and try to remember what they are. Miss Hong is a 55-day, and then we have Rubicon, which is a 54-day, and we have Bilko, which is a 54-day. And I may not need to plant those just yet. Maybe too early for those. So let's keep looking and see what we got here. This Jersey Wakefield here. This is one that's not, I believe it's like a 75 to 80, 90 day. I have to look it up to be for sure. But I know it takes longer than that. So this is one we're going to put out. Jersey Wakefield. It's a common one in Zone 8 or Alabama that's commonly used for spring, I know. But we're going to be using it for fall. And another one that I've had good success with, as far as cabbage is concerned, is the New Brunswick. No, not New Brunswick. Brunswick. Just Brunswick. It was a free seed that Baker Creek had sent, and I've still not used it all. In a few years that I've had the packet. I don't see a pack date on here, but I think it was free seed like 2020, maybe 2019, somewhere in there. And I've just been using this packet ever since, and we've gotten several. Our largest heads of cabbage that we have harvested have been the Brunswick cabbage. All right, so we've got these two that are definitely, but I don't want to do 36 of each one of those, so that's, I mean, it would be nice to harvest that much cabbage. All right, so we're going to look up the Bilko cabbage. B-I-L-K-O cabbage. Let's see if we can. Really? That's a 50? That cannot be a 54, especially not in the fall. Let's see what it says on the back. Summer sowing for a fall crop, winter crop in mild areas. Is most naturally adapted. Okay. Transplant recommended. Yeah, for sure. Huh. So generally speaking, when you see the harvest days that are going to be on the packet, for instance, this Bilko package says 54 days. Generally, and this is what Bilko looks like. You okay? Did you just fall? She just fell. So generally, the date that's on there for days to harvest is going to be from a spring harvest, and usually fall is going to add a little bit more time because there is less sunshine, and things tend to grow slower over the fall. So I am going to go ahead and plant this one because look at this. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Why wouldn't I want that? I did plant it for spring harvest, but it got too hot. That's that one. Let's see what Rubicon looks like. Does anybody else do this? Like, okay, so it's oh, that's why I got this one. It's full size cooking and for kimchi, and I wanted to do kimchi this spring. Didn't happen. Okay, I'm gonna show you, and it looks a lot like the other one. So, all right, and now let's look at Miss Hong. Miss Hong. Ooh. Ooh, Miss Hong is beautiful. This is Miss Hong. I'll give you another shot, and that's the hearts. So basically we have two green and a red. So it's a little early, but I'm gonna go ahead and plant them, and this is why I'm going to do this. I don't suggest you do it, but I'm going to do this because I finally figured out a way to keep our seedlings happy, to make sure they have plenty of light indoors, so I can keep these guys protected. Right now our lows are like 77 and our highs are like 97, so even when it's cool, it's hot. It's hot right now, y'all. It's so hot. It took the dog like 30 minutes to cool down from being outside 15 minutes. So it's just bad. And then in the midst of all that, Ty thinks that it's good to go fursuiting. I don't understand. The heat that was radiating off of that suit was crazy.
$3,500 on doing
Wow.
You see this? I'm uploading that video to my Etsy so they can see it.
Okay. Go check her out on Etsy. Alright, so 72 trays. That means we can do 6 different varieties. I can do 12 of each to make sure. And this is going to be something that I succession sow my cabbage, because I do want to have it. Although these cabbages are being planted at the same time, because the harvest date or days are different on all of them, it's almost like we're succession planting at once. So our Jersey Wakefield will be ready in 60 days, but this Brunswick is not going to be ready for 30 days. So that gives me a month period in between the two. If I'm going to be like chopping, freezing, whatever, it gives me a month to harvest and figure out what I'm going to do with this one, or we may eat it fresh before this one is ready. And then our Bilko and Hong and Rubicon, they're all in the 50-ish day range. So I can expect to be getting all of them about the same time, these 3 here. So which will be good, because these are going to be the ones that we're going to be using for fermentation. So if we wanted to do big batches of kimchi, I'm going to need all of these about the same time. These, on the other hand, I can use a little bit of space in between. So if you don't want to be overwhelmed by the amount of food that you're bringing in, just try to take a little time to think about the days, harvest days, what you need as a family, and what you'll be able to deal with. Go. And so you can see all of our labels are made, and we'll just start with the Jersey Wakefield here. I generally will look at my notes from previous years to look at what my germination rates were, and that kind of determines for me how many seeds that I'm going to be planting per cell. This one had fair germination, so we're going to do 2 per cell. On your seed packets, they will often tell you or give you a suggestion about how many to do per cell, the depth. Your brassica seeds are all going to be fairly small, so you don't want to put them too deep. In the beginning, you'll just see that I'll just go and just lay them on the surface of the soil, and I will come back after I've done all of the cells and just kind of brush them in ever so lightly. You don't want to put them too deep, because if you do, what can happen is they're going to struggle a lot to get out of the soil or your medium, and sometimes they can literally rot before they surface. And so if you're having problems with germination on some of your plants, consider how deeply you're planting. Generally, the smaller the seed, then the less the depth. All right, so I'm just gonna take another one of my little popsicle sticks here, which is what I made the labels out of, and I'm just gonna brush the seed in. Since I did use a potting mix, occasionally I will come across the little sticks like that, and I'll just take those out. I was really impressed with the moisture content in this particular bag. It wasn't soggy, it wasn't extremely dry either, so the moisture content is really nice. After I brush them in, I do like to go back and kind of tamp down the soil a little bit, and that gives me an opportunity to, like you saw in that case, those seeds were not fully covered. And I'm not pushing down really heavily, but I am pushing down some, and the first watering that I will do will be from the top on a light mist, and that'll keep any seeds from shifting by tapping the soil down. All right, so that was our Jersey Wakefield. Supposedly that particular variety can get to be about 2 pounds, and it's a really good one for cooking. Storage life on it has not been great for me, but here in Alabama we do have a very, very humid environment, so that's generally just not good for storing most vegetables. So I suggest this one if you're going to be looking to cook, and I would definitely do it in succession, because like I said, the storage life isn't that great. Now Johnny's does have some really good ones for storage. I can't remember their names right now, but we have used them in the past. My issue with those has been germination. Was not great with those particular ones. All right, now we're going to move on to our Brunswick. I'm only doing 12 of those, so I'm doing 2 of these as well per cell. And for me on this particular one, I'm doing 2 because I've just had the seed packet for so long, and you can start to get decreased germination rates the older the seeds are. Just is what it is. This particular cabbage is said to be very cold hardy, so knowing that, I could get away with planting this one outside of the high tunnel because it should be able to handle frost. And being that it's going to take 90 days, we may actually get into the frost with it. So it is August now, so let's say we set it out mid-September. October, November, so it's not going to be ready till around December. We will have already had our first frost. So this is one that I know will be good to plant in the field areas or in one of the raised beds instead of taking it to the high tunnel and using up valuable space there. So next we have Mrs. Hong. Now I didn't have any success with this at all over the spring. I did start it, but no success. And on the packet it does recommend 2 per cell in a 72 plug flat. Yeah, mid-spring through mid-summer, late summer where winter is mild. And we generally have a mild winter. Let's see. The germination rate on this guy is, or girl, Miss Hong has 94% germination rate. So I'm gonna follow the instructions. I feel like I may be wasting seed, but I'm gonna do what it said. I'm gonna do 2 per cell. You can separate the 2 if both of them germinate and are doing well. You can separate them at planting. She over here fighting right by herself. So the next video, guys, that I plan on doing is an update video on our silky chicken that hatched all by herself. So you basically get the idea of what we're doing here. It's put the seeds in, cover them, tap it down, water. The one thing that I have not shown you guys, but it's really self-explanatory, is when we purchased these trays, we did purchase the domes as well, the humidity domes that go over the top, and they just provide extra humidity. It's like a high tunnel, but a mini high tunnel or greenhouse. It really seems to speed up the growth of the seeds, in my opinion.